Welcome to Guide to Reads, friends. When you're lost in a good book, how does your brilliant brain transform that simple sentence, "It was a dark and stormy night," from just black marks on white paper into this rich, cinematic mental scene? Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the reading mind by cognitive scientist Daniel Willingham. This book is a true treasure trove, revealing the complex yet elegant neuroscience and psychology behind how we read. It'll show you why reading can feel so effortless when in reality it's this amazingly intricate process. And hey, maybe you'll even pick up some tips to become an even better reader and educator. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more insights into the wonderful workings of the human mind. Reading might feel like it happens in an instant, but it's actually this incredible sequence of cognitive processes happening inside your head. First, your eyes and brain work together to distinguish all those individual letters, mapping them to the sounds they represent. Then it recognizes familiar letter patterns and whole words, almost like old friends. And as soon as you see those words, they activate these vast networks of associated concepts in your mind, like stormy, connecting to thunder, wind, and a sense of danger. As you keep reading, your mind links all this new information with what you've already absorbed using grammar, context, and your own knowledge of how the world works. All of this comes together to create this vibrant mental movie where you're not just passively processing words, but actively building scenes and making meaning. Isn't the human mind just so remarkable? If you're curious to understand more of this incredible journey from abstract symbols to immersive story, then let's begin. 1. From symbols to meaning. The human mind is just endlessly fascinating, isn't it? The way we've evolved from those early civilizations painstakingly scratching out symbols just to keep records, to the incredible written languages we have today. It really is a remarkable feat of cognitive development. Just imagine how mind-blowing it must have been for those first communities to realize they could actually preserve their thoughts and knowledge for future generations, instead of just relying on the unreliable oral traditions. I bet there were some geniuses back then whose light bulb moment of creating those first writing systems changed the course of human history. And the ingenious leap from those clunky pictographic systems to the elegant, efficient phonetic alphabets we use now. What an incredible breakthrough that must have been. And even though reading feels so natural and intuitive to us now, it's actually this incredibly complex cognitive process that builds on all those layers of language development. When kids first start formal education, they're already masters at spoken language, with those dual mental representations of words, how they sound and what they mean. But then reading adds this whole other dimension, where our brains have to learn to visually discriminate between all those different symbols, connect them to the right sounds and meanings. No wonder it takes so much explicit instruction and practice to really get good at it. It's mind-boggling to think about all the incredible neural pathways and lightning-fast processing happening inside our skulls every time we pick up a book. We're truly remarkable creatures, aren't we? I could go on all day about the sheer brilliance of the human mind. But for now, let's keep exploring this reading journey, shall we? 2. From letters to language. The journey of learning to read is just so fascinating, isn't it? As someone who's been through it myself, I can't help but feel a little nostalgic and admiring of how impressive this whole process is. I mean, think about it. Those first wobbly attempts at distinguishing between all those seemingly similar letters, B's and P's and M's and N's. It must have felt like such a jumbled mess at first. But then, like magic, our amazing brains just start to make these specialized connections, building those neural pathways that let us recognize the key components of each letter, no matter the font or style. It's almost like how we learn to tell different dog breeds apart. Once our brain gets the hang of it, those confusable letters start standing out as clear as day. What clever little computers we've got up there. And the whole phonological awareness piece, oof, that's a doozy. I remember how tricky it was to really break down the flow of spoken language into those distinct sounds and words. It's so easy for us adults to take that for granted now, but as a kid, trying to count the words in a sentence or separate the syllables, that was no small feat. I'm in awe of how our brains manage to navigate all the contextual variations, the inconsistent letter-sound relationships, to map those written symbols to the right sounds and meanings. Talk about arbitrary paired associate learning, what a mouthful. But hey, if our brains can handle that complexity, there's no limit to what we can do. I'm just so impressed by the whole reading journey, from those first scribbles of our ancestors to the tomes of knowledge we have access to today. It really is a testament to the incredible power of the human mind. Now, I'm ready to dive even deeper into this reading rabbit hole. What other wonders await? 3. From sound to sight. The magic of how our brains transform reading from stumbling over letters to this fluid, almost effortless process is just endlessly fascinating to me. As someone who's been through that whole reading journey, I can't help but feel a deep sense of awe and appreciation for the incredible work our minds are doing. When I think back to those early days, sounding out each letter laboriously, CAT, it's amazing to see how far I've come. But it's not just about speed, is it? No, the real magic happens when our brains start building those multiple cognitive pathways, tapping into our existing mental representations of words. Developing that orthographic processing, where we can just instantly recognize words by sight. It's like our brain becomes this expert word detective, intuitively sniffing out what looks word-like versus nonsense. And the way we start storing those frequent letter combinations as single units rather than decoding each one? Genius, pure genius. That's why skilled readers can zip through a page, seamlessly distinguishing homophones like pair and pair without a second thought. And the word superiority effect, that's just mind-blowing. How we can spot letters faster in real words. It's like our brains are constantly optimizing, freeing up that precious working memory so we can focus on the big picture instead of getting bogged down in tedious decoding. And then the bit that really gets me, when we can stop fighting the words and just let that internal voice take over, bringing the text to life with all the rhythms and inflections of natural speech. Suddenly, those marks on the page transform into this rich living language. It's like we become the conductor of our own mental orchestras, weaving the melody and harmonies to create this vivid performance. Truly remarkable. The human brain never ceases to amaze me. From those first tentative steps to becoming a literary virtuoso, the reading journey is such a testament to our incredible cognitive capabilities. I can't wait to dive even deeper into this world. What other wonders await? 4. Networked meanings. The complexities of the human mind and language. It's truly fascinating how a simple word like spill can take on such nuanced and multifaceted meanings, depending on the context in which it's used. You see, our brains don't operate like a rigid dictionary, with neat and isolated definitions. No, the way we process and understand words is far more dynamic and interconnected. It's like a vast neural network, where each term is linked to a rich tapestry of associated concepts, emotions, and experiences. Take the word heavy, for instance. When we read a 50-pound watermelon is heavy, our minds immediately conjure up images of heft, bulk, and physical strain. But when we encounter a 50-pound person is not heavy, the very same word activates a completely different set of mental associations, perhaps related to health, body image, or societal norms. It's this contextual sensitivity that allows us to navigate the incredible complexity of language. Our brains are constantly scanning the surrounding words, drawing on our expansive knowledge to determine the most appropriate meaning. Spilled milk may evoke thoughts of mess and cleanup, while oil spill sparks concerns about environmental disaster, and the depth of our vocabulary knowledge plays a crucial role in this process. Sure, knowing the basic definition of a word is a good starting point, but it's the intricate web of connections and associations that truly empowers us to comprehend even the most unfamiliar terms. Say you come across the word catachresis, a complete mystery, right? But if the context suggests it's related to the president's habits, your brain can start drawing inferences and making educated guesses. Perhaps it has something to do with mannerisms or speech patterns. Ultimately, this remarkable mental network of meanings is what allows us to flourish as readers. As long as we understand the vast majority of the words on the page, we can leverage our contextual awareness and the richness of our vocabulary to build understanding, one connection at a time. It's a true testament to the incredible power and flexibility of the human mind. So the next time you find yourself lost in the labyrinth of language, take a deep breath and trust in the innate brilliance of your brain to guide you through. 5. Building comprehension. The intricacies of reading comprehension. It's truly a marvel of the human mind. You see, understanding individual words is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to making sense of the written word. It's all about how we piece those building blocks together, using context, structure, and our own knowledge to construct meaning. Take that jumbled phrase, biting dog is that cat the. On its own, each word is clear, but the order is all wrong. But with a simple rearrangement, we suddenly have two very different scenarios. That dog is biting the cat, or that cat is biting the dog. Fascinating, isn't it? And it's not just about the order of the words. The grammar and structure play a crucial role too. In that sentence about Winters, the pitcher, the commas and tenses guide our understanding, helping us grasp that Winters was the one doing the throwing, not the ball itself. But it goes even deeper than that. As we read, our brains are constantly connecting the new information to what we already know. Sometimes it's obvious, like when the same idea is repeated. Other times we piece together a bigger picture by linking related concepts like a cake on a table at a party. And let's not forget about those all-important causal connections based on our understanding of the world. When we read about icy sidewalks and a parent warning their kids to be careful, our minds automatically make that link between slippery ice and the need for safety. Ultimately, this rich tapestry of comprehension culminates in what psychologists call a situation model, our dynamic, ever-evolving mental representation of a text's meaning. It's what allows us to follow along with a novel even when we forget the specific details. We may not recall the exact words, but our situation model keeps the narrative and its significance firmly in place. It's a true testament to the incredible power of the human brain. To take those individual building blocks of language and construct such a cohesive, contextual understanding. So the next time you find yourself lost in a book, take a moment to marvel at the remarkable process unfolding within your mind. Reading is nothing short of a cognitive masterpiece. 6. Growing good readers. The art of cultivating true reading masters. It's not just about honing those technical skills, my friends. Nope. It's all about nurturing the right mindset, motivation, and self-image as well. Because when it comes to becoming a fluent, voracious reader, attitude is just as crucial as ability. You see, the simplest truth is that the more you read, the better you'll get. But what drives someone to pick up that book in the first place? Well, it all comes down to that three-pronged attitude: our cognitive beliefs, our behavioral actions, and our emotional feelings about reading. Think about it. A person might intellectually understand the importance of reading for success, make regular trips to the library, and yet still feel a sense of dread or indifference when cracking open a new book. But when that emotional component is positive, oh boy, does the magic happen. Enjoying the reading experience creates a feedback loop. The more you read, the better you get, the more you enjoy it. And then there's the matter of motivation, that delicate balance of expectancy, how well you expect to succeed, and value, how much you see the activity as worthwhile. Take that Minions-loving kid, for instance. Even if they adore the characters, their motivation to read the chapter book will hinge on whether they believe they can actually understand and enjoy the story. That's where reading self-concept comes into play, seeing yourself as a reader and having that identity woven into your sense of self. When reading is simply part of who you are, it becomes a natural go-to, rather than an intimidating chore. So when it comes to nurturing young readers, the key is to focus on those positive experiences, rather than just pushing skill development. Let them choose books they're genuinely excited about, even if they seem a bit beyond their current abilities. Share the reading journey through family time and celebratory book discussions. And above all, model that infectious reading joy yourself, because kids who see the grown-ups in their lives relishing the written word are far more likely to follow suit. The moral of the story? Cultivating reading masters isn't just about building vocabulary and comprehension. It's about igniting that internal spark, that positive feedback loop that turns reading into a lifelong love affair. With the right mindset and motivation fueling the way, the rest is just icing on the literary cake. Final summary. The extraordinary power of the reading mind, truly a marvel to behold. This remarkable work, The Reading Mind, delves deep into the complex cognitive feats that transform those humble symbols on the page into the rich tapestry of meaning we call reading. You see, it's not just a simple matter of looking at words. No, this everyday act is a veritable neuroscience magic show. From the intricate interplay of practice and prior knowledge to the brain-aligned strategies of great teaching, this book lays bare the incredible inner workings that transform us into voracious readers. So whether you're a teacher designing transformative literacy curricula, a parent nurturing the next generation of bookworms, or simply a curious soul eager to unleash your own reading superpower, The Reading Mind is an absolute must-read. And the best part? The insights gleaned from this work can be put into action right away. Just try these brain-back tips. Preview your text to activate that background knowledge. Pause periodically to reinforce your understanding, and discuss what you've read to cement it in your memory. By unlocking these secrets of the reading mind, you'll be tapping into a wellspring of cognitive magic that extends far beyond the page. After all, every time we read, we're performing a neuroscience miracle. So let's make the most of this extraordinary power. And for an even deeper dive into the evolution of reading, be sure to pair The Reading Mind with the captivating Proust and the Squid. Together, these works will open your eyes to the timeless wonder of the written word, from its humble beginnings to the heights of its modern-day mastery. So what are you waiting for, my fellow reading enthusiasts? Grab your copy of The Reading Mind, subscribe to Guide to Reads for more illuminating cognitive insights, and get ready to unleash the full potential of your reading mind. The page-turning adventure awaits.